Hello and welcome to Yoga, Relaxation and Meditation lesson number 3. So I'm Sarah. I am assuming you've done parts 2 and 1, but if you haven't, it doesn't particularly matter. I'm sure you'll be able to follow. We talked in the last lesson about the concept of what the mind is and how we can use the breath in yoga and our meditation practice to focus in on one thing, and we've been using the breath as our point of focus to help to calm the mind. So what I mean by that is prevent or try to prevent the overthinking, ruminating, thinking around in circles. I call it spin thinking, when you go round and round thinking about the same thing. Often it's something that's bothering you, and if you think about it over and over again, the mind thinks you might actually solve the problem, but often that's not the case. So stepping away from it and then coming back to it later can often help us to think things through more rationally and help us to feel better as well. So we're going to continue with those themes. These sessions are suitable for students and anyone who is interested in learning about meditation and relaxation as a means of reducing stress and anxiety, or just because they fancy giving it a go. Okay, so I'm going to take a seat on my mat. I've got my yoga cushion as normal, but you can use blankets, a big thick book, yoga blocks if you've got them. You don't need to be sitting on a mat. You could sit on a blanket or a rug. I'd suggest you have something soft underneath you. If you're on a hard floor, you could just sit on your carpet. But once again, we return to thinking about our seated position. So I'm sitting cross-legged, and traditionally for this type of yoga practice, we would sit cross-legged. I've got my ankles in line with each other, but that's only because I've spent a lot of time sitting cross-legged, and that helps me to get my pelvis above my knees so I can find that alignment in my spine. Imagining the vertebrae as building blocks, one on top of each other, but we're not looking for stiffness, we're not looking for rigidity, we're looking to find a place where we are relaxed, and that will mean we can stay here, we can develop resilience. So do remember, if this isn't right for you, you can kneel or sit with your legs out in front of you. So take your focus towards your breath again. So start concentrating on your breath. And for the last 2 classes, we've looked at focusing in on counting the breath and working towards making the in-breath and the out-breath of equal length. And so as you settle into this lesson today, I would suggest that that's where you place your attention, on counting your breath. Now, of course, the minute you turn your focus to your breath, it can start to feel a little bit odd, but we're just looking for a relaxed, natural breath, and it may take a few rounds of breath in and breath out before you can settle into that. And we're not forcing, we're not holding, we're not straining. It's a relaxed and natural breath. We don't listen to the ego telling us that we should make the breath as long as possible. That's not the point here. And we notice if the mind is starting to chatter to us. And what I mean by that is pulling our attention away from where we are and what we're doing, away from our breath, to other things, whatever they may be. Whether it's something that's bothering you or something innocuous. It doesn't matter. The noticing that your focus has been taken away from your breath is the important thing, and then refocusing back to your breath again. So we're going to develop the theme of the sensations that we looked at in the last class. So once you've settled into your count, and the more you do this, the more natural that will feel. You can can start to focus on the coolness of the breath as it comes in through the nostrils, towards the back of the mouth and the throat, and the warmth of the out breath as it passes back out through your throat and your nose. And if you can't breathe in and out through your nose today, that's fine. You can breathe in and out through your mouth. That does make it a bit more tricky because your mouth will tend to get quite dry. And all the while you're just allowing in-breath to roll into out-breath, out-breath to roll into in-breath, one breath to the next. And now I'd like you to take your focus towards your chest. And as you breathe in, can you notice, can you detect the small movement in your chest? Maybe it's a bigger movement in your chest. Maybe you find that when you're breathing in and out, you are very aware of the effect in your chest. Try not to force the breath or strain to get the chest to move. Just focus in on what's happening to you. The rise in the chest as you breathe in, and the release as you breathe out. And now move your focus down to your belly. And as you breathe in, pay attention to what happens to your belly. And the minute you do that, there is a tendency for the belly to start to do funny things, perhaps billow itself out and then pull itself back in as you breathe in and out. But we're not looking for that. We're looking for relaxation. You're not trying, you're just doing, you're just being. You're just here, breathing and paying attention to it. And now I'd like you to think about your ribs, particularly in your sides. And continue to breathe in and out as you have been. Can you feel any movement in your ribs? Maybe you can feel the expansion as you breathe out. Sorry, the expansion as you breathe in. That's the wrong way around. Expansion in the ribs as you breathe in. And release as you breathe out. And once again, we're not trying to push the ribs out or pull them in. We're just allowing the breath to happen. Okay, so now we're going to move down to lying on our mat again. Once again, we're going to find that posture with our feet on the mat, our knees pointing up to the ceiling, and our shoulders relaxed on the mat with the ears away from the shoulders, hands either relaxed on the belly or on the ground at the side of you. Take a moment just to find where your feet should be, where is right for you. Notice that if they're too far apart, your knees will tend to swing in. If they're too close together, your knees will tend to swing out. So just take a moment to find the right place for your feet to be. And then take your focus back to your breath again. Noticing the coolness of the breath as it passes in through your nostrils, towards the back of your mouth, your throat, and then the warmth of the breath as it passes back out. And then moving your attention to your chest and seeing if you can notice how the breath affects your chest. I think when you're in this lying down position, generally I'm a bit less aware, able to notice my breath in my chest. But if I move my focus down to my belly, I can feel the expansion in my belly as I breathe in, particularly with my hands resting on my belly, and the release as I breathe out. And I'm not trying to push my belly out, I'm not trying to suck it in, I'm just allowing the breath to move my belly. Expansion with the in-breath and relaxation with the out-breath. And then I'm going to take my focus to my ribs. And see if I can notice the effect of the breath on my rib cage. I'm not trying to move my ribs, I'm just allowing the breath to happen. And I'm noticing the effect of the breath on my rib cage. And all the while I need to keep the breath steady, natural, unhurried and relaxed. And I'd like you to just slide your feet away from you now, and perhaps it would feel right to take a full body stretch and reach your arms above your head, pushing through your heels so your toes point up to the ceiling and then pointing your toes away from you. And then coming to lie on your side, maybe using your arm as a pillow to rest your head on and just remaining there for a moment. Noticing how you feel, resisting the urge to pop up to a seated position. And then when you're ready, bringing yourself up to seated. And well done. That's the end of our lesson for today. I do hope you enjoyed it. So if you have any questions, my email address should pop up on the screen at the end of the video. And if you're interested in any live, personal or bespoke yoga, then please do feel free to contact me.